Stay at Work Kentucky presents Mental Health and the Workplace, featuring Kristen Dahl.
My name is Kristen Dahl. I am a program manager at the Human Development Institute at the University of Kentucky. And by education, I'm a licensed professional clinical counselor and a master certified health education specialist. Mental health conditions at work can be particularly hard to manage, and workplaces don't know how to respond. So some of the things that are really helpful with that are being transparent. So if you're transparent about mental health, you kind of reduce that stigma. Also, psychological safety, I think, is a really important mental health practice at work. Just helping people to feel safe, walking alongside them, offering empathy, offering compassion. It might just be a drink of water. It might be flexibility. And if you have those things in place, then you can pull them out at any time. Treat others as you would want to be treated. And that includes leadership and managers. So that understanding of what someone else is going through really leads to mental health practices that are better for everyone. If you look at all the experiences that add up to who we are, you can assume that everyone has been through a traumatic experience. And then we have these trauma responses that lead to mental health conditions, or we have mental health conditions that can lead to trauma responses. And just being aware of what those are and treating those how you would like to be treated, I think that's really important for mental well-being. And some of those trauma responses that you see pretty often we think of as the fight, freeze, and now we've added fawn and flop to that. So people who are in the fight response, you might see them kind of be aggressive or kind of a bullying behavior. People who freeze may have trouble making decisions. Fawn is the people-pleasing, the people who want to please people all the time and can't move forward, have trouble with boundaries. And then flop are people who sometimes dissociate. Like if it looks like someone is just checking out, or even if they faint, we call that flop. So there are lots of ways to deal with these. So we have what we call self-regulation, which is your ability to manage your emotions and to manage your behavior. So if you're self-regulated, you're in a good place, you are comfortable with your behavior. Something that's really important is if someone is having a trauma response, you can help them, and we call that co-regulation. So you can help them come back to a place where they are feeling mentally healthy and mentally well based on your self-regulating your behavior. So some of the most common mental health conditions that you would see are anxiety. And so that anxiety can just kind of be a feeling of nervousness or discomfort. You might have someone who has generalized anxiety disorder, which really makes that anxiety difficult to function in daily life. Or you might have someone who has panic attacks. That's part of anxiety, and those panic attacks can just be really overwhelming. Depression is common, and just that feeling of low energy and hopelessness. Trauma, as I was just talking about, but also part of trauma, there's also post-traumatic stress disorders, burnout. So burnout is just mental and physical exhaustion, and you just sort of don't want to go on anymore with your work. You just don't so much care about what your work looks like. You see a lot of absenteeism. I think that psychological safety is a really important support that you could have, and also having trusted relationships. So if that's relationships with your peers, with your management, and with your leaders, trusted relationships are important. Being transparent about even simple things like what time you're going to start work and what time you're going to stop work, and what is your expectation of the work that you're doing. So having transparency, avoiding jargon. We talk with so much jargon, and it really gives people stress. It gives me stress. Use simple, plain, inclusive language. That is an important support. Employee assistance programs exist in a lot of workplaces. Trainings are important to inform staff. Peer support is a great support. If you have somebody that's been through it, they can really help someone else. And then also just practicing things. So if you have a place where you can practice mindfulness exercises, or if a certain group of people has the similar hobbies, and a place where they can come together and talk about that or do something about it, practice it. I have the virtual wellness. All of those are important supports. Thinking about all the factors that make this worker, like their home life balance, is their flexibility as far as what they're wearing, what they're learning, is there a path for them moving forward? So making considerations like that, like can I lead them and care about what their home life is like? Can I care about what their training is like? Can I help them find the things that they're really good at? Can I promote exercise? Can I promote meditation? Can I teach simple grounding techniques? Do I follow my own plan for having a schedule, for being structured? And then if you do those things for yourself, then you can move into leadership and do those things for other people. Your relationship with management, your relationship with your coworkers is another big one. Is there flexibility in your work? Are you comfortable in your environment? So these are some of those universal design strategies, right? Can we make this workplace the most beneficial it can be for everyone? Someone who might need a set of headphones in their work, or someone who might need lower light. So having a place where you can be your authentic self, you are going to help others be their authentic selves as well. I will say something I didn't talk about is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration's 4 R's, and I think that those are a pretty good trauma-informed framework. Realize, recognize, respond, and resist re-traumatization. So realize that trauma is present in your workforce. Recognize trauma responses. If how they're acting is not how they usually are, and these are things that are different than their normal behavior, recognize that. Respond to these trauma responses with compassion, with empathy. Provide ways that this person can deal with their trauma. Provide exit strategies, provide support. When we carry our trauma histories around, often things re-traumatize us. We can't always predict what they are, but if you know something is going to affect someone, resist re-traumatizing them. Offer trainings, offer a multitude of different grounding exercises that are easy to put in place that help resist that re-traumatization.
Retain Kentucky is funded by the U.S. Department of Labor and the Social Security Administration under a grant award of $21,600,000 to the Kentucky Office of Employment and Training that will be incrementally provided. 100% of grant funding is from U.S. federal funds. This product does not necessarily reflect the views or policies of the U.S. Department of Labor or the Social Security Administration, nor does mention of trade names, commercial products, or organizations imply endorsement by the U.S. government. Please visit us at stayatworkky.org